And, Ori, you're interrupting. There we go.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. Like the hodag from Wisconsin, one of the big ones. Babe the blue ox is actually a fearsome critter.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Well, it was a ox born during the coldest winter. Okay, sorry for the interruption. We just had a major cat fight, literally.
Alrighty. All right, fearsome
we're
creatures.
talking about fearsome creatures.
On the subject of fearsome creatures,
Yeah.
yes.
Fearsome critters. Do you think there are things like the hoop snake, agripelters, the squonk?
Oh, they're all made up.
They are. I love them, though. They're tall tails.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like the hodag.
Yep. Well, Babe the blue ox was born in the coldest winter in Minnesota, and that's why he was blue.
All right.
Okay, so that fearsome critters are awesome, though. They're the original tall tails, and they're so much fun.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, now you got creepypasta kind of taking the place of these tales, but they don't really come up with many fearsome critters like that. I'm okay, you can say Slender Man maybe was a success, but he didn't really come out of creepypasta. He came out of a photo thing. But he's a modern example of how this worked. People started telling a story, and you knew it was, at the beginning, you all knew it was like a tall tale fake story, but then other people, built upon it. Now, the difference is fearsome critters, everybody was still in on the joke.
Yeah.
The
hodag.
The hodag, agripelters.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with the agripelter, it's this chimpanzee-like creature that lives in trees and throws dead limbs down on lumberjacks.
It was an explanation as to what the reason for widowmakers.
Yeah. And then you got one of my favorites, the squonk, which is this poor, ugly creature that has such low self-esteem. It goes around crying all the time. Doesn't that sound like something that needs a hug? Just needs a big hug, tells him it's beautiful, and But then you got the hide behind, which is a bear that hides behind trees and just jump out and scare you.
Great.
These are great. They're great stories, and I think I like the tall tales. I do.
Yeah.
So. Well, what some people consider a tall tale, but a couple weeks ago there was a sighting of this particular critter in Green Lake State Park.
Oh, yes, it was Bigfoot.
Big the Foot, as
Mr.
Adam
Big
the
the
Woo
Foot.
says. Yes. Bigfoot, yes.
For
Actually,
sure.
New York does have quite a few Bigfoot sightings, and it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, we've got one of the largest areas of protected land in the United States, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah.
The Adirondacks, and then you got the Catskills, and then you got the Alleghenies, and you got the Finger Lakes section.
Plenty of
too.
land set aside for conservation.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So, I mean, we do have a large habitat. I do think Bigfoot is plausible, but too many hoaxers out there screwing it up.
Yeah.
The search for him.
The thing is, if they're arguing that it's some kind of early ape, then it's too large.
Yeah.
And there's environment as well. And then there's also gene pool. There's got to be enough. There's got to be enough material in there in the Bigfoot gene pool family in order to carry on the species. And that's just too many things that are stacked against the Bigfoot. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not necessarily a believer myself in the Bigfoot, but I think it's plausible. I'm in the plausible category.
I am plausible too, just for the fact that a lot of the areas where Bigfoot or Bigfoot-like creatures are seen, like the skunk ape and that, they are still, you think we are pretty developed in the United States, but there's still a lot of land that isn't developed or is protected. Yeah. And I don't think it's a malevolent creature. It's a wild creature. It's going to behave like a wild creature. So you got people like, oh, the Bigfoot is a gentle forest giant, and it's only here to help protect the forest. No, it's going to be a wild creature that if you antagonize it, will rip your head off.
Well, I meant to say,
what
I meant to say is if it's an early hominid,
is
what not an early ape, but early hominid, it's too big.
Yeah.
Because most of the early hominids were, anthropologically speaking, rather diminutive in stature, because, they were evolving from apes, which were smaller still.
Yeah.
And
Really the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens were the only ones that got really close.
It's when you get into Australopithecus, those areas is when hominids really start to grow in stature.
Yeah. But it could. There's some Bigfoot sightings I think are misinterpretations. Bears can walk on their hind feet. There's a famous bear a few years back on the internet who was filmed in New Jersey, walking for a good distance on its hind feet because it injured its forepaws, and it needed to get around. So it walked on. It was probably painful for the thing.
Easily mistaken.
It could easily be mistaken.
Like that, yeah.
And even in the video, you're first thinking, oh, it's some guy in a bear suit, and then you realize, no, it's a real bear. It was going around the suburb, like you said earlier about digging in the garbage.
Right,
It was foraging in the suburb, and people were videotaping. But enough people knew about this bear, though, they kind of protected him because they knew his story. They knew he was injured, and he was kind of like a little wild mascot of this little cul-de-sac,
Right.
So, yeah, it's a good possibility that, you would see a bear stand up and it wouldn't connect in your head that a bear can stand up, but they do. They do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that bear proved they could walk on their hind legs as well. So, and not just be trained in the Russian circus to do so,
Balancing on a large beach ball.
Yeah. So I do think some sightings are misinterpretations. I do know sound-wise how easy it is. Now, I never thought when I heard this it was a Bigfoot. I think if I heard this later on in my life when I was reading more about Bigfoot and realized, how some people attribute some noises to Bigfoot, I might have made the connection. But when I was younger, I'm out in the woods at the farm with my two dogs beside me. One was this hound and the other was a St. Bernard. And I start hearing this. I can't even do the noise, but can you imagine? It's a thud, kind of echoey thud, thump, 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 thump. And I didn't freak out because my dogs didn't freak out. The hound went into full, I got to find this thing mode. Nose to the ground. It was doing its job. It needed to find this thing. The St. Bernard stayed by me, but she wasn't scared. She was just staying by me. And I kept hearing this noise. Now, where I was in the woods, 25 feet one way was the road, 25 feet another way was a field. So it wasn't like I was deep, deep in the woods. And I'm hearing this noise. But I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of weird. I looked around for a bit, couldn't find the source of it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going home. My dogs weren't freaking out. I wasn't freaking out. I just chalked it up to some weird noise in the woods. Like I said, at that point I had read much about Bigfoot. If I had read about the noises, I might have immediately thought, ooh, Bigfoot, But I didn't think much of it, and for years I kind of forgot about it. 30-some-odd years later, I'm on the line looking up bird sounds, and there is a type of wood grouse that uses hollowed-out trees and logs to amplify a noise it makes during mating season. And guess what that noise is? The dunk, 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 dunk.
It was exactly the sound you.
Yeah, it was exactly the sound I had heard. So here's this unexplained mystery from when I was like 11 that I didn't get solved until I was in my 40s. But I never would have thought it was a bird until I found that recording online. The bird was farthest from. I was thinking it was some sort of mammal making that noise. I didn't even think it was a bird. I definitely didn't think it was Bigfoot. There were a lot of strange creatures up in the Blue Hills of Wisconsin, but Bigfoot was not one of them.
Yeah, it's surprising that we didn't see any Bigfoot. Have any Bigfoot sightings.
We did have moose up there, though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one wound up wandering into my neck of the woods one time.
Yep. So.
And I never saw it. I always had to take somebody else's word for it that a moose is, walking around downtown.
Yeah. So.
And whatever.
And then, there's other things. The prints. I have a hard time with those prints because just normal paw prints. I don't know if you've noticed different, you see a dog print and after a while it gets in the mud and gets, like yesterday we were out at Great Bear Recreational Area and there were tons of dog prints and horse prints around and it was muddy and it was nasty. Boy, they get really distorted.
And all kinds of poop.
And all kinds of poop. Not just horses and dogs. We could have took a scathology book out there and cited like 50 animals. My God.
Yeah.
But
rabbits and deer
and there was a ton of it. But you saw how distorted those would get in the mud, and it happens in snow too. So it could be some of these tracks are something very normal and benign, but by the time you find it, it's distorted into classic Bigfoot shape.
Yeah.
And there are, of course, the fakers who go out there.
Oh, for sure.
And fake them too. There are a small percentage that can't be explained away by that, and serious Bigfoot researchers know which ones those are. But you got so many hoaxers out there. Just so many that are making a buck off of faking the Bigfoot. That, that 1% of evidence that could be seriously taken won't be seriously taken. It's like me with the poltergeist. You can't prove to me poltergeists really exist because there's so much fakery with it.
There is.
Yeah, you show me the one that really is a poltergeist thing, unless I'm physically standing there, I'm not going to believe you because there's just so much hoaxing with it.
It has to be. Another one of these things has to be explained. It has to be experienced by yourself in order to be believed.
And even then, later on you may debunk it yourself, like I did with that, the ghost sightings at the house and, things of that nature. But yeah, I think Bigfoot is very plausible. We are eventually going to be talking about Whitehall and its connection with Bigfoot. And Bigfoot's being sighted around central New York now. Was it a bear that crossed in front of that person walking on its hind legs? I don't know. The description's pretty plausible that it was some sort of tall bipedal creature that crossed in front of this person as they were driving past Green Lake State Park. Could it have been a guy in a Leshy suit? Maybe. Then why the heck did you not uncover your face when you're crossing the road? Because that's a little dangerous, dude, if that was the case.
Yeah, no kidding. The Leshy suit, I don't know. It looks less like a Bigfoot, more like a shambling mound.
That's true.
Of some kind.
That's why
Moss man.
I do watch a lot of Bigfoot debunkers because when they do come across something they can't explain, it is.
Para Breakdown is one of them.
Para Breakdown is amazing. That is, it makes it more plausible. There's a good example of some guy. It's never been really explained. People are like, "Oh, it's Bigfoot." It could be coyotes. Okay, in the faked videos, just like the ghost hunters that annoy me. This is what you're going to get in the faked videos. I'm going to reenact a fake video right now. Oh my God, what's that? Are you seeing that? Oh my God. Oh my God, what is that?
Oh,
Did
God,
you see
what's
that?
that smell? Yeah.
Do you see it? Oh my God.
Oh my.
Okay, I just reenacted 90% of the videos on YouTube. Okay.
The real fake ones.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Did you see that?
Yeah. What is it? What is it? That's about 90% of the videos. And then you come across ones like this guy out in New Mexico. He's standing, and he's got the camera to himself. He's facing the camera. And he goes, "What is that noise?" And he's very calm, but you can tell he's kind of frazzled. "What is that noise?" And you can hear it in the distance. Now, it could be coyotes echoing. It could be foxes even.
Yeah.
That are somehow their voices are being distorted with the atmosphere. But he's like, "Okay, did you hear that? I'm hoping this picks it up." And he's very calm through the whole thing. And he doesn't speak the entire time. He pauses so you can hear this noise. And like, I'm still not sure 100% what it is. I would like to get somebody who's very knowledgeable of the animals in that area to listen to it. Because it's obviously distorted too, you can hear. And I don't think it's distorted like he went in and changed the audio on it. It sounds more like it's echoing off of something.
You know, and something like that sounds probably more easy to fake than, say, something visual.
Yeah.
But you can pick up the fake sounds the same way as you can fake video. And if you analyze it, if you've got the right kind of equipment and analyze the sounds, and you can separate on your editor all the sounds that are being picked up.
How is that one more convincing? Because he pauses and lets you listen to it. He's not going, "Oh my God, what is that? What is that? Do you hear that?" And he keeps talking over it. No, he pauses. He's obviously frazzled, but he's trying to stay calm recording this. And it is a weird noise. And it is animal. It's definitely animal. The scariest part for me is at the end of that video, somebody is shooting in that direction. You can hear gunfire going off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Whether they're connected or not, you can't tell in the video. Because somebody could have been down the street target practicing at 9 o'clock at night for whatever reason, and it just happened to coincide with this weird noise.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Yeah. And even he comments, like, "Why are they firing? Why are they shooting?" You know? But that is a very convincing video just because of how he recorded.
Somebody shining deer, maybe.
Maybe, something. You know? And he even mentions he's lived out there all his life. He's never heard anything like this.
Yeah.
You know, granted, I got to take this man on his word. I've only seen him on video. But he's definitely not one of those hoaxers. Because they're just so obvious about it. Yeah.
That's just a bit.
You know, there's...
Trying to be surreptitious about it.
Well, you know, and they talk over. "Oh, do you hear that? Do you hear that?" And they're talking. You can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
And like, "Do you see it? Do you see it?" And it just perfectly crosses from right to left, right on the path where they just happen to be filming at that point. It's always shaky cam. You know, that's like 90% of the videos out there. And then you get this one that's very convincing. The Patterson video to me has been debunked. To me. Because, well, watch the original Hellboy with Ron Perlman. He does the walk, the Bigfoot walk at the beginning when they're doing that.
Yes,
in the intro, you know, he's going across the street. He does the perfect perfect walk from the Patterson film. So yeah, that one's been debunked for me for years. I don't think, but again, we talked about this in 13 Curves. The legend was probably there already, and they were having fun with the legend.
Yeah.
So where did the legend come from? Yeah. So I think it's one of those situations with the Patterson film. I don't think they went out there to, you know, maliciously make fun of everything. They were just having fun, and it blew up bigger than they thought it would, you know. And I did get a lot of people interested in what could be this unknown species in the United States. And hey, go back to the big cats.
Yeah.
If it's easy for people to dismiss an animal that's supposed to be in the area and it had in the past lived in the area, imagine how it is easy for them to dismiss something that supposedly never existed.
Yeah.
But is a large creature and follows rules of animals. That's what, you know, and that's the thing too. If a Bigfoot does exist, it has to follow certain biological rules. And I'm sorry, if Bigfoot is training coyotes to hunt with them, I'm going to be terrified because That means they're very close to fire and wheels, folks.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But that's one theory that Bigfoots do. There's, oh gosh, when we were out in the woods yesterday.
Quite a lot of bushcraft in
yeah.
the existence of a Bigfoot.
I was joking. We came across 2 trees that had fallen onto a third tree, and they formed this perfect triangle. And I was joking with Matt. I was like, oh, look, Bigfoot was here. Because so many people will take pictures of these things. That was natural. That just happened. And say it was Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. But trees fall, and they're straight, and they'll fall in angles.
When you get many tall trees
yeah.
clumped together, the deadfalls will fall against each other.
Yeah.
As the trees grow old, grow old, get diseased and die. For instance, or just die of natural causes.
And also, no human can put those together,
whatever.
right?
I'm sure there's a lot of
yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of explanation as to why trees die. And they get damaged and die. In storms, and when they grow closely together like that, they'll fall against each other.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Nothing else
or like
to
I
it.
said, no human could do it. Quoting Peter Venkman, no human could stack trees like that, Because I do see pictures of these, and I'm like, yeah, they're very interesting, but I'm going, how do you know somebody wasn't out in the woods bored one day and just started stacking sticks?
Yeah, how do you know?
People stack stones all the time in the woods. Mm-hmm. We came across that in the
woods. We came across a few of them, those kind of...
So why is Bigfoot the only creature that's supposed to be able to do this? My God,
Exactly.
I think I've done it,
I know.
Bored out in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. We've done it as kids out of boredom.
Yeah.
Just something to do.
So, and then the tree, like I said, the tree knocking, well...
Pre-Atari days.
Yeah, the tree knocking, there's no way to get a whole Bigfoot doing tree knocks. Uh-huh. Because if you're hearing knocks in the woods, more likely it's a woodpecker. Or somebody else looking for Bigfoot. I mean, we heard plenty of woodpeckers yesterday, too.
Oh, yeah, we did, too. And what about geological formations under the earth as well? Those knocks.
Oh, yes. If anybody's familiar with, I think it's Germanic folklore, it was some European folklore of things called knockers. Mm-hmm. They're supposedly these gnomes that live underground and make hammering noises. Well, those are actually explainable. You get where plates are rubbing together, or fissures in plates, and they're rubbing together, and the pressure gets so strong, they'll actually start popping. Mm-hmm. And it does sound like somebody hammering something, but it's just pressure coming off the plate and causing the noises to happen. It's creepy as AF. I mean, it is, because I have and the video I can't find it anymore. Because at one time there was this spate of videos of, the trumpet sounds in the sky. And it was the same trumpet recording from a Kevin Smith film in all the videos. But amongst that spate of these fake ones, this guy was out hiking somewhere out west. It was right before this major earthquake, like a few hours before this major earthquake. And he's out there hiking, and he records this on his camera. Now, here's the thing, though. Again, he wasn't going, what is that? What is it? Do you hear that? Oh, my God. No. Yeah. He was more like, those noises are coming from the east over there. He's trying to give you information about where these noises are coming from. Mm-hmm. And you can hear them, and it sounds like somebody is banging rocks together. But they're just echoing through this valley. And he posted it up on YouTube. And a few hours later, there's this major earthquake out west. Well, guess what? This area where he was hearing it, somebody put 2 and 2 together and realized he was hearing it on one side of the fault. And then this earthquake happened. So he was hearing... This was actually a good recording, because here he is hearing this phenomenon, and he's recording it, and he's telling you what direction it's coming from. And you can, there's a fault line there related to the fault that went. So he actually probably recorded what could be a precursor to an earthquake. So if you start hearing knockers, he might want to, find someplace sturdy to be in,
Yeah.
And yes, earthquakes do happen here. They do. Unfortunately, I was on top of that shaky machine when the one happened when I was working, or I would have a nice earthquake story, but that shaky machine, I couldn't tell. I get down, people are like, did you feel that? I go, what? I was already up on this machine that was shaky, so I didn't realize the ground was shaking. Mm-hmm. I mean, the earthquakes that happen around here are less than one. Two if it's really pushing it. But it does happen. Well, the Adirondacks are mountains. The Catskills are mountains. We do still kind of live in a geological active area. Granted,
there are fault lines.
Yeah.
In the interior of the continent.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Wisconsin, the Barron County fault line.
Barron County fault line.
That's in the middle of the continent, and that's a fault line too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did almost sleep through a heavier earthquake when I was visiting my brother in Alaska decades ago.
Alaska is around the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, I woke up and the pictures are swinging on the wall. So I do have an actual earthquake. One which I do remember, but it was up in Alaska. But there's still a lot of places around here that you could call geologically active, but we're not hot spring related or anything like that. We've got salt caves. We've got look around Saratoga and that area, the mineral springs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So there's
those things are disgusting. When we went there,
we gave up. I gave up after tasting 5 of them. I couldn't stand it anymore. I was like, I'm going to taste every one of these. And the first one was actually good. It tasted like a carbonated water. With just
it's not like riding the carousel at carousels at Binghamton. You get a pen afterwards. Taste all the
first one,
springs. You got a prize at the end.
First one was actually good. I could actually drink that one again. It just like I said, it tasted like a heavily carbonated water with a slight mineral taste to it. It was actually good. And then we tried that other one. Well, that was a lot of iron. And then we tried another one. It got a little stinky. And then I think
they just stank.
The fourth one,
awful.
The fourth one I got it in my mouth and spit it out.
Oof.
It tastes like sewer. It
After
was
the third one, I gave up.
Yeah, we tried.
I just no. You can't get me to do this anymore.
But so I know we totally went off the subject there, but. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting geological formations. I mean, last weekend we were up at Chimney Bluffs.
Yeah.
And those are very unusual formations. Yeah, Okay, we did totally go off subject here, the paranormal. Sorry, the knockers kind of threw me.
Yeah.
Is there any other, folk tales and that kind of... How do you feel about, stories of crazed lumberjacks and things of that nature, which never can be proven?
Oh, gosh. Give me an example.
Well, there's a story called the Fost Lumberjack, which is exactly that, a crazed lumberjack.
Oh, my.
Yeah, apparently his family disappeared and he went nuts. So
disappeared?
Yeah, but there's no proof it ever happened.
Oh.
But it makes a good story.
Yeah, of course.
There have been alien sightings, not just UFOs, but alien sightings in New York as well.
Yeah, that's right. We were going to get on the subject of aliens as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the possibility of other forms of life in the universe is not only probable, but very possible.
But it's not. They're not going to come down and look like Nordics or Greys, in my opinion.
And if they're bothering to come here over possibly billions of light years away, I doubt if they come all that distance just to put probes up your butt. I just don't think that's why they go through all that trouble. Mm-hmm. And
what if they're game wardens?
Oh, jeez. Oh,
I
boy.
have heard that theory.
Entering Rod Serling territory here.
I have heard that theory that there's some reason where they're game wardens for us.
Game wardens, yeah, exactly.
You know?
And then,
But I don't think I think we do make contact with alien life. It's not going to be anything. They're not going to be humanoid.
yeah, I think that
We'd be more likely to run into giant octopus.
or beings of pure energy,
Yeah.
or
There's a lot of good
something like that.
speculative fiction when it comes to evolution, where people have speculated what intelligent life, how it would develop on other planets, and what it would look like, and they come up with far more interesting alien life than
Yeah.
the Greys and the Nordics and the reptiles, and we've got
Oh,
this
the Anunnaki. And
yeah,
whatnot.
we've got this set mythology of aliens that come here, but if you look at the reality and look at biologically what could develop on other planets based on what that planet is like, far more interesting ones. Your mind just reels with the possibilities.
Yeah.
And it would be, I think, kind of boring if they showed up and they looked human. Tell you the truth.
Well,
Yeah.
forms do repeat
Yeah.
throughout the universe. Planets are usually round, and if a species is going to walk upright with habitual erectness, that's an anthropological term for you. It's not dirty. They're going to have opposable thumbs in order to
Maybe two
work-
opposable thumbs.
possibly,
Yeah.
in order to develop tools.
Yeah.
They're going to have some way and some kind of frontal lobe in order to create tools.
Yeah.
And a science. They'll have to be able to. They're going to have some kind of mind that will allow them to develop a kind of mathematics, which will allow them to develop a science and a technology that will get them from point A to point B.
True.
And that's the insufferable thing that we're trying to work out now as human beings is breaking the light barrier doesn't seem to be at our present rate of development technologically possible within the next 100 years. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So breaking dimensions seems to be far more plausible. And instead of trying to physically move through space like that, but breaking dimensions and making those distances shorter,
Right.
I think that's probably more than likely the kind of technology that these extraterrestrials are going to have.
Or they just pop off in the TARDIS. And...
Well, temporal technology. Yeah, that, again, breaking the dimensional barrier.
But, okay, I think we've covered everything now that we've talked about time travel as well. So-
Exactly, okay.
All right. Well,
So a broad spectrum.
pretty long one here. And,
Got kind of long-winded.
yeah, but I think this is a good one to people know where we are when it comes to how we view the folklore. Definitely, some of us believe in more things than the other, and we're skeptics on some things together. Like I said, if somebody says, "Oh, it really was a poltergeist," I'm going to be like, "Yeah, right." But if somebody says it was Bigfoot, and I've got his hair here, and we're about to take it down to down to Cornell and have him test it, a little more plausible.
Yeah.
Not, I got Bigfoot in my freezer, but you can't see him. You know what I mean?
It's right next to the Cardiff Giant.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even get to the best hoaxes in the world, but
No.
Cardiff Giant, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, well, I guess that's it. We did a nice little discussion here, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it. And if you're hoping that we were just true believers and everything, sorry to disappoint you.
No.
But like I said, it's these stories that reel you in, and I'm the type of person that I have to know more. And that's when I start discovering the history behind some of these stories, and it makes, to me, it's more interesting.
Okay.
I don't think it debunks anything. I mean, I'll accept a story that's good, even if I know it's fake, like a fearsome critter.
Yeah.
Over somebody trying to convince me that something that's obvious fake is true. I'd rather, play along with the joke than having somebody, try to convince me when the fact, I know the facts aren't there, so why are you trying to convince me? Let me enjoy the fun.
Yeah.
Let me enjoy being in on this with you. Don't try to make me a believer out of something because really, I can't believe in Bigfoot. Only Bigfoot can believe in himself, but I can't believe in Bigfoot. But I do think he's plausible.
Yeah, if those unicorns are going to manifest, that they need to believe in themselves.
Exactly. So, I don't mind the stories. The stories are what reel me in. I love the stories, but when you start looking at behind the stories, you can really, it's fun. To me, it's fun. Sometimes disturbing, sometimes just interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find out something you never thought you'd know about, or it might lead you down a rabbit hole you never thought you'd go down before. So it's fun,
Yeah.
But it all starts with the story, So.
Yeah, the history behind it.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Good morning, whatever time it is.
Whatever time you're listening to this.
And
right.
Our honey settled down, and she's saying good night as well.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Unearthly Upstate. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, and on our webpage. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, and Google Podcasts. Please like, share, and review, and if you really like us, tell your friends. Unearthly Upstate is an animated Lyre Media production. The show is produced by Matt and Mari Manette, with purring provided by Honey and Lloyd. Research and writing done by Mari Manette. Music is by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Unless stated otherwise in the episode, the places mentioned in the broadcast have not paid or contacted us for any type of promotion. And please check out our webpage for full credit and sources for the episodes.